This story took place in the summer of 2017. My friend and I were young teenage girls at the time. We didn't live in the best of areas. One night we decided to go for a walk around the local pond, which wasn't far from my house. It was pitch black out that night, although there was some sporadic lighting from the streetlights, which were all spaced far apart. However, there was still enough light to guide us to the pond. We left my house and began walking up the dark street. We stopped at one end of the pond and sat down on a bench. This bench happened to be right under the single light that overlooked the pond. And since the light was directly above us, anyone approaching would see us perfectly illuminated. Looking back, it wasn't a good idea to sit there at night. It practically made us a target. We talked for a while, but after a few minutes, I noticed some movement in the distance. I squinted my eyes and saw a group of silhouettes approaching us. Since I'm a paranoid person on a good day, I alerted my friend to the presence of what I assumed was a group of people swiftly coming our way. We debated for a moment on what we should do. The first option was to keep sitting on the bench and assume that they were just harmless individuals who wouldn't do anything to us. The other option was to take no chances and make a run for it back to my house. Something about these approaching figures was threatening to me. So we quickly got back on our feet and started off with a speed walk. I looked back, and my worst fears were confirmed. The group of figures was now sprinting right for us. That's when my fear truly kicked in. My friend and I began to run full speed. I kept looking back at the group as we ran, and noticed that they were gaining on us. I could not make out any features of the people due to the lack of lighting, so we were just blindly running from several faceless figures, which added to the terror. We eventually arrived at my house and hid in my front yard for a while. Since we were being followed, I didn't want them knowing where I lived. Eventually we went inside, making sure to lock the doors behind us. When we were talking about it after the fact, she said that she looked back like I did, so we don't actually know if they attempted to follow us the whole way back. For all we know, it could have been a group of kids just playing a prank on us. But under the circumstances and the area's reputation, we were glad that we didn't take any chances.
So a little backstory. I grew up in a close-knit community surrounded by houses and parks. As far as crime goes, very little ever occurred there. Things came full circle last year when I moved into a house in my old neighborhood. It was just off the main road that connects to the local mental hospital. There had always been an underlying concern from the residents about that place, but there had never been an incident where a patient escaped. Over time, we got used to it. However, things changed over the years. It was no longer the quiet, peaceful place I remembered. The amount of noise and crime I witnessed after moving in was astonishing. My wife travels a lot for work, and when she does, I tend to sleep in my game room towards the back of the house. One night, I had a horrific nightmare. I was laying on a bed in a dark room at the hospital. I got that feeling that you get when you know you're being watched. I scanned the room to find my wife standing in the corner, looking me directly in the eyes.
Josh, wake up. Someone's about to break in. You need to wake up.
I sprung up and immediately grabbed the handgun I kept in the nightstand. I opened my back door to find someone standing in my backyard with a crowbar. The figure took a few steps towards me with the crowbar raised above their head. I raised my firearm.
You come any closer, and I'll shoot.
The figure stopped dead in their tracks, then took off, jumping over the brick fence that separates our backyard from the main road. I called the non-emergency number and let the dispatchers know what had just happened. It turns out that the man in my backyard was an escapee from the mental hospital. It was the first time anyone had ever escaped from that place, and he ended up in my backyard with a crowbar. Lucky me.
This story is from the perspective of a female. I have worked as the night shift telephone operator at a casino hotel for 14 years. I'm used to dealing with drunks, assholes, and perverts on a daily basis. I get a lot of unwanted attention because of my voice. I've been serenaded and even proposed to. I'm usually able to shrug it off, but on the night in question, I received a phone call from someone who was an extremely deranged individual. It started off like any other normal Saturday night. A drunken guest called from his hotel room.
Hey, can I get 2 sets of towels up here, please?
My pleasure, sir. Is there anything else I can get for you?
Yeah. You.
I sighed in annoyance. We'll get those items up to you shortly, sir. Have a wonderful evening. I hung up, thinking that I had heard the last from that guest. But I was wrong. About 15 minutes later, he called back.
Hey, everything's here. Except you.
I don't work in housekeeping, sir.
Damn. Your voice, though. I bet you're hot, aren't you? Why don't you come up and see me?
Sir, I'm not allowed to leave my desk. Do you need anything else?
Do you not understand what I'm telling you? I need you.
I hung up on him again and continued to take calls. That night, I was the only operator on duty, which was usually the case. After a while, I had almost forgotten about the guy, when he called again about 30 minutes later.
Hey, I've got champagne and cheesecake up here for you.
Not for me, sir. You enjoy it, and have a good night.
Wait, don't hang up. You're the love of my life. I've never loved anyone but you.
I was losing my patience with this drunken idiot. Sir, I don't have time for this. Enjoy your cheesecake and have a good night, I said firmly before hanging up. I knew that I lost my temper, but I couldn't help it. This was getting ridiculous. A few minutes later, he calls back.
If you won't come to me, I guess I'll just have to come to you. I want you. I need you.
Sir, you need to stop calling me, or I'm going to inform security. I'm trying to work here. I slammed the phone down again, slightly rattled. This has never happened to me on this level before, and it was starting to scare me. He calls back.
What do I have to do to get you up here? You know that I know your boss. All I have to do is tell him that I want you, and you'll be mine. I practically own this fucking place. One phone call, and you're gonna be up here, on your knees!
I hung up the phone in disgust. Then I quickly dialed security and explained to them what was going on. All the security guys are buddies of mine. They said that they would be up there to talk to him immediately and to let them know if he called back again. A short time later, he did.
They're trying to keep you from me. They don't know how much I love you, how I need you. I'm coming for you.
I called security again. They told him that if he called back one more time, they would have the sheriff's office come out. So a short time later, I received another phone call from the lobby phone. At first, all I could hear was heavy breathing. And then, that familiar voice.
I'll fucking find you. I need you. You belong to me. Where the fuck are you?
I hung up and called security, who immediately sent an officer to the lobby. They also said that they were going to call the sheriff right away. Since I don't work at the front desk, I'm nowhere near the lobby. I'm in a safe, undisclosed location, behind a secured door, where he couldn't possibly find me. But still, the caller's behavior frightened me. My coworker then called me from the front desk.
Hey, there's this creepy guy up here asking about you. I didn't tell him anything. Do you need me to call security?
Oh my god, are you kidding me? I've already called them. They should be on their way. Where is he now?
He's standing right... Oh shit. Where'd he go? Fuck. I'm calling security. Lock the office door, okay?
After that, I quickly contacted my buddy in surveillance. They said that they were aware of the guy and were tracking him. He was pacing by the employee's door, looking for another way to get downstairs, to where I was.
Don't worry, security just caught up with him, and the sheriff just pulled up.
I felt sick to my stomach. I didn't realize until just then how bad I was shaking. This man was a lunatic, wandering the halls of the hotel, looking for me. He doesn't even know me, for Christ's sakes, and has no idea what I look like, and yet he was determined to find me. I was having a full-blown anxiety attack. I have no idea how much time passed before the head of security, who was a good friend of mine, came into the office. The sound of the door opening made me jump. "Hey, it's going to be okay. Just breathe. He's banned from here, and the sheriff deputies have escorted him off the property. You should go home. You want me to call the manager?" "No, I'll be okay. Really, thank you. I just wasn't prepared for that level of crazy tonight is all." "Are you sure you're going to be okay?" I was far from okay. But I knew there wasn't anyone to cover my shift, and I was no longer in danger. For the rest of that night, several of my buddies in security came by to check on me. I don't know what that man said to them, and I don't think I want to know. But I'll tell you this. I've never seen a group of big tough guys look so worried and disturbed before. I guess that's what happens when you come face to face with someone who has truly lost their mind.